Hello fellow human, hope you guys have a great day and let's read some r/I don't work your lady stories. To the first one. I do flooring, I don't have your daughter's COVID test. A lady called the store I work at today. We are a flooring and tile installation company. Me, well, company name installations, Christine speaking. Lady, hi, who is this? Me, well, this is Christine. Lady, hi, my name is. Name here? My daughter is, in your care? At this point, I recognize her name, and she has been a difficult customer, but I haven't been the one working with her. I've just overheard things. I assume the renovation is for her daughter? I thought it was odd that she said in your care, but she paused and fumbled a bit there, so I thought maybe she just blanked. Lady, I'm hoping, my daughter isn't doing very well. I don't think, and I was wondering if you had her test? Me, oh, I'm sorry, I think you have the wrong number. Well, this is company name and we do flooring. Lady, oh, haha, I'm sorry. She keeps laughing and then, Lady, could you take care of that for me? She was completely joking and we laughed, but I instantly thought of this up. Well, that was an interesting exchange. I hope her daughter is okay. The second story. This encounter made my entire day. Last night, I was at our local department/grocery store looking at a new mask since my nice one went missing when I was at the hospital giving birth recently. I was squatting down when I see a tiny pair of polka-dotted rain boots behind me and I hear an, "Excuse me, ma'am, where are the gloves?" I looked up to see this adorable little girl with blonde pigtails, probably about 5 years old, holding her daddy's hand and smiling at me. Her dad quickly apologized to me and explained to his daughter that I don't work here. She looked embarrassed, so I quickly told her she had beautiful manners and I wish I could help her. Her dad apologized again and I told her not to worry about it, that his daughter was really sweet. As they were walking away, she looked back at me and told me thank you and to have a good night. Not only this girl was just stinking cute, but she was so polite, and if I'm ever going to get mistaken for an employee, I'm glad it was by her. Also, a big shout out to her parents for teaching her amazing manners and how to properly ask for assistance. Oh man, bless her heart. What a lovely experience to go some way to restoring your faith in people. The third story. Ma'am, I'm a soldier, not a plumber. Background. The title says it. I'm a soldier in the German Navy. Our uniform is straight dark blue. Most of the plumbers working in Germany also have blue working cloth. It was in the winter of 2019, around December, so I also was wearing my blue navy jacket due to the coldness. After 2 weeks spending on sea, I was glad to head home by train. I didn't change my uniform to civil clothes because as German soldier, you can use the train for free if you wear your uniform. At the station, I had to wait for about an hour for the next train to arrive, so I thought I should use the bathroom. Oh god, if I had known! M stands for me, K for German Karen, P and P2 for police officer, and E for employee who sells tickets. Let's go. Karen, the bathroom is flooded. You have to fix it. Me, excuse me, ma'am? Karen, fix it. Me, I think you mistaken me. I'm not working here. Karen, oh yes you do. You have your working clothes on, so go and fix it. Otherwise, I report you. Me, ma'am, I'm a soldier, not a plumber. Look at my jacket, there it stands. I point to my jacket where stands German Navy. She starts to rage. Karen, you lucking lazy piece of crap. Go and do your work. I pay taxes for your money. Me, well that is right, but you're mistaken me. I pull out my military ID. Well, this is my military ID. Look, I'm a soldier. She cursed on me really good, like I didn't know women are able to do that, to be honest. At this point, a station employee catch the attention. E, is there a problem here? Karen, yes, the bathroom is flooded and he grabs me on my jacket. refuses to do his work he's supposed to do. Me. Ma'am, I'm afraid to say it again, but I'm not a plumber. Soldier for German Navy, this is what I am. And do never touch me again. I get rid of her grab. E. Yeah, it is a uniform from the Navy. Suddenly, she started to scream and throw herself to the ground. Karen. Abuse! He slapped me in the face. She still screamed and the police got the attention. Police officer. Ma'am, what happened? Karen. He slapped me in the face. Employee. Well, it's not true. He didn't. Karen. Yes, he did. You're covering for your coworker, you liar. Employee. Well, I'm not his coworker. Me. I really didn't. She grabbed my jacket and I just got loose to her grab. Then she started screaming. At this point, she discussed with the police officer and I showed my ID to the other officer. Police officer. Ma'am, he's right. He's not a plumber. He's a soldier. And also, our offices has evidence that he didn't slap you. It's all on the camera. I think we should have a closer talk in the office. Police officer 2. Sorry, sir, for all that trouble. Have a safe travel. Me. Thank you. The police took her to the office and I've never heard from her again, gladly. The employee and I just laughed our butts off. He got me a coffee and we chatted for a bit till I jumped on my train. Oh boy, what a Karen. Oh, I swear, sometimes people are just stupid. She literally tried to swap story with another witness. That is just straight up dumb. On to the fourth story. This isn't 1695. My kids attended a private school in Delaware. As a part of their 5th grade curriculum, they all visit Colonial Williamsburg. They have been doing this for many years. The school is pre-kindergarten to the 12th grade, so a lot of families, like ours, have kids in several different grades and they all talk about the trip to Williamsburg. It's a week they all look forward to, and they all have heard stories from other kids about their trips. It is also the first extended 4 days overnight trip. Many parents are still reluctant to send their kids off on an overnight trip, so the 5th grade teaching team holds a lottery and selects several parents to go with the kids. The parents keep track of the kids during tours and meals, and they have their child and usually 2 others in their room. It can be pretty competitive to get a parent spot. When my daughter was in 5th grade, I chaperoned, and a few years later, my husband went with my son. Here's the catch. The school totally buys into the idea of an immersive colonial experience. The kids all wear colonial outfits that week. They eat at a tavern and get enlisted in the militia. They even had a colonial dance one night, so some of the girls have more than one outfit. Sometimes parents borrow colonial clothes from families with older children, and sometimes they are bought. A lot of them are made by the parents. They also have a collection of clothes in a colonial closet that the kids are able to borrow from. Often parents donate clothes from their kids after the last one goes. Here's the kicker. Parents are supposed to dress up in colonial outfits. So, I made outfits for my daughter and myself. It was way more work than I thought it would be. They turned out to be great. Obviously, a few years later, when it was my son's turns, he could not wear the dresses. My husband also was chosen to chaperone. No way I was making a full colonial outfits for the boys. So we called Opera Delaware, and we were able to borrow colonial clothes for both my husband and my son. One of the neat things about Colonial Williamsburg is that the historic interpreters that gives tours and operate the businesses are in period dress and act as if they were living during the colonial era. One day, the kids were eating lunch in one of the taverns. My husband, who is an attorney, needed to check his email and messages. So while the kids were eating, he ran outside to try and get better phone reception. He was dressed in full-on colonial clothes. An older lady, we can call her Karen, came stomping up to him. Karen, what are you doing? Husband, just speechless. Karen, you're supposed to be in character. You shouldn't have that phone out. There were no phones during colonial times. Husband, realizes he's in colonial clothes and the kids weren't anywhere to be found. Ma'am, I don't work here. I'm just a chaperone. They left Karen, very confused. I mean, why would a grown man visit Williamsburg dressed in period clothing? Karen, Well, still, you shouldn't be out here on a phone. People won't know. That was the last time my husband chaperoned a school trip. Haha. Well, that definitely was a very caring thing to do. On to the fifth story. Someone thought I was a charity worker, then tried to have me arrested. I run a charitable event for my work around this time last year. We usually put on a carnival to raise money for charity and raise awareness of our company slash establish ourselves in the community slash attract customers, but all the money goes to charity. So I stood up at the carnival and gave a big speech about the importance of charity and how the cause was personal to me and my family. It funded cerebral palsy research that particular year, and my father lives with it. I was very visible throughout the whole event, sharing my story, raising money, and running carnival booths, etc. Fast forward to a couple of months ago. I bumped into someone while in line to get coffee who said they'd met me at that event last year. We ended up starting a pleasant conversation, so sat outside to drink our coffees together. In hindsight, she seemed a little bit off. A little tightly wound, but it didn't register over such a brief encounter. She mentioned how she had been so glad to see a large-scale cerebral palsy charity event and hadn't seen us do any events since. I had started to explain the yearly nature of the carnival and how we picked different charities, but she unintentionally cuts me off, caught up in her own emotions, as she began to recount a moving story about a sibling who suffered from the condition. I was telling her how terrible that was and how I completely understood in reference to my own experiences. Before I could really get into talking about my own story, she checked the clock and said she didn't realize how much time had passed and she needed to go, but she appreciated the work I did and my support to listening to her, etc. She began fumbling in her purse for her keys. Then, as she's leaving, she said, "And there's a little something to support your work," producing something folded in a napkin from her purse and leaving it at my side. I'm an interior designer, so I had no idea what she could be talking about in terms of supporting my work, but we were seated just by the street parking, so she was gone too quickly for me to ask. I unfolded my napkin, and to my shock, she had slipped a $100 into the napkin. I was dumbfounded with the confusion as to why this perfect stranger would give me any money to support my work in commercial interior design without getting anything designed in exchange. It took me a while to figure out, but I eventually realized she must have come to the carnival and assumed the charity itself had put on the event, so thought I worked for them, not an interior design firm. It took me like 10 to 15 minutes to realize, so it was far too late to try and catch up to her, and all we'd exchanged were first names. I didn't even know where she worked. So, without any hopes of tracking her down, I figured the best thing to do would be to just donate the money to the charity. I did, and that was that. Fast forward to the last month. Somehow or another, this woman came to realize I don't work for the charity, but I'm in fact for the profit sector. I think it is because I was featured in an online ad the firm has been running. She left a message on my work phone, half angry, half embarrassed, and saying that she was willing to forego holding me accountable if I paid her back in full. The problem is, I didn't have the money anymore. I donated it. I explained this to her, but she wanted proof. I left her a message she didn't pick up when I called, explaining the company ran a carnival event to raise money for the charity, but that we aren't the charity ourselves, and that I absolutely did donate her money to the charity so she could be rest assured. I didn't hear anything back for about 3 days. On the 4th day after I'd left the message, the police show up to our firm's headquarters. We are almost all working remotely because of COVID, so they unduly terrified our teenage receptionist. I was also scared half to death because I had to have a serious meeting with my boss in which she asked if I had misinterpreted myself as a charitable worker and collected donations in personal capacity because of the claims this woman made to our business. When I explained, my boss blew her off, and that's when she got the police involved. This woman called and said we were masquerading as a charity, scamming people out of money, so the police came to confirm we were operating as a legitimate business. They saw nothing out of the ordinary, obviously, and that was that, or so we thought. Fast forward to a week later, my boss got a letter from a lawyer. I don't know exactly what it said, but it accused us of scamming this woman and demanding her money to be returned. I wish I could have just provided proof of the donations, but I have thousands of emails. I delete most of them, and I could not for the life of me find the confirmation email that reflected my donation. So instead, my boss made another $100 donation to the charity and took a screenshot and sent it to the lawyer. We haven't heard from her, the lawyer, since, so I don't think she was wild about representing this woman in the first place. We have still gotten a couple of wild phone calls from the woman saying since the date on the $100 donation is so recent, it means we still had the money, and we should have returned it to her when she asked, why? If she wanted to donate it to charity anyways. Anyways, my boss explaining that we donated it the first time, and this was a second donation to assuage her concerns has not helped. Eventually, we just blocked her number. Worst part is, due to COVID, we aren't having a carnival this year, so she will be even more convinced we were making the whole thing up. Well, I would suggest you contact the charity and seek the email confirmation directly from them again. That should solve it. That's it for today, fellow humans. Thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time.